What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, Yaknastiiifishing, and I'm your guy, Jay Small. And today, we're talking about the most predictable time to go fishing, and that's right now. Yeah, guys, we're talking early summertime bass fishing. Yeah, late spring, early summer. When it starts heating up, we start to get that 90, upper 90s, mid 90s, feels like, 110, or they say real feel, which why don't we just call that 110? You know what I mean? We just say it's a buck 10, it feel like buck 10. You know what I mean? Just no real feel. That's tricking me. That's a mind trick, y'all. But yeah, guys, the most predictable time to go fishing is right now, okay? It's hot, the water's warmed up. We know exactly where these bass are gonna wanna sit, hang out, and feed up. Yeah, stick around. But before we get started, let me tell you something. I love to support my local businesses, all right? Small businesses, man, when people out here just busting their behinds to build something right here in good old USA, guys. And with that being said, I'm just gonna shout out the House of Coffee. Yeah, man. I love a small business model. I love to see things grow. I love to see people build, and I love to see success, guys. So if you're in the Dover, Delaware area, stop by the House of Coffee right on Lockerman Street, guys. Right down the middle of Dover, Delaware, right down the city. They call it a city, but it's like a town, but it's a city. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You just got to be here to know what I'm talking about. So let's get into it. The most predictable time to go fishing, yeah, right now and all summer long, okay? This will take you all through August, this advice. I'm telling you guys, these fish are getting heavy pressure, they're getting beat on, and Lord knows the forward-facing game has turned some things up a notch, okay? I mean, dead serious, all right? But all this I'm talking about, we're not talking about forward-facing sonar. We're not using forward-facing sonar, all right? If you have 2D, that's awesome. If you have side imaging down scan, that's awesome. You can use those tools as well, all right, guys? You don't need anything at all for what I'm going to tell you today so you can catch more fish. Bank, boat, or the kayak, no matter what, you can bring those fish in. So, my first bit of advice, carry plenty of water. All right, guys, safety is my biggest thing. Really, for the most part, that is I don't play any games with safety. Wear your PFDs, do all that good stuff, man. We done had some guys, we lost them along the way because they weren't wearing their PFDs and they weren't staying hydrated, okay? In these conditions, you must drink plenty of water. You're getting beat on by the sun. It's going down out there, guys. So if you're fishing in 90, 95 degree, come on, man. Just be smart about it. Carry plenty of water. Take your time. All right, guys. Wear your PFDs. If you start to get a little tunnel vision, okay, you start to get a little lightheaded out there, get yourself off the water, find the bank, sit still in some shade. Please, guys. I don't want to see any more headlines of people out here, getting lost in the sauce and going to see the other side because they didn't wear the PFDs or weren't taking care of themselves, all right? So take you some vitamins, all right? If you're in a kayak, try to stay athletic, try to work out a little bit because when we fall in, we have to swim. We got to use our whole body, all right? And fatigue can't be an option, all right, guys? Bad health, bad physical, health is bad out there on the water if you get up in that situation and you can't swim good and just guys, be smart, be safe out there on the water, man. I'm just tired of seeing the headlines, guys going missing and they're finding bodies. So, it's just a big thing. It really, something I'm passionate about, and I probably should speak on it more, but I don't. But yeah. So guys, be safe. All right. Now that that's out the way, First thing we're gonna look at when it comes to catching these fish, bro, is shade. Bam, plain and simple. Like right now, I'm sitting in the shade, all right? It's just a psychology, right? A lion, okay, out there in the middle of the day, okay? Now, I don't know, I'm not a lion expert. It's just what I done seen on Nat Geo, you know? But a lion, they're sitting under a shade tree or something, okay? That sun's beaming down, they're in the shade, okay? Other animals in the shade, okay? When it's hot out there, they're lethargic, all right? They're going to the shade. They're trying to cool that thing on down, and the fish are doing the same. They're trying to cool their body temperature down or keep it somewhat regulated in the warmer water, okay? Shade, right? Under those overhangs. Very predictable stuff right here. And of course, this one is a gimme, right? But it's an obvious one. A lot of people, we get out there, we get stuck in our way, and you know, we don't always think about these things right off top. So these are just reminders. Look at that shade, dude. Look at all of the shade, because that is a great possibility. Now, we're talking about those overhangs. We're talking about docks. We're talking about bridges, okay, guys? We're talking about lily pads. Yeah, because right now, the pads are above the water level, and most of my bodies of water near me, they're up above that water level. So if you can get a frog or something back up in there, or a little punching rig set up just right, yeah, you can get up in them pads, and those fish are sitting in there just trying to stay cool. And of course, like all predators, you know, they seize the opportunity when the bait arrives. So yeah, man, you trigger that bite, you get that fish up out of there, okay? With that being said, with the pitching and the flipping, those muck mats, you know what I mean? Those little grass mats, and sometimes it's just muck, I don't know. Sometimes the cheese is what they like to call it, is the muck mats, guys. So you can punch in those muck mats. It's cooler by a few degrees under those mats. And guys, sometimes you will catch a giant out of those mats, out of those pads, okay? Those overhangs, you should skip underneath there. Excuse me. You can skip underneath there, and man, yeah, you get the bite. So that is a very, very predictable spot. All those locations I'm pointing out, guys, they're everywhere on every body of water. If you have big log laydowns, that when that sun's coming down on it, it casts a shadow right there. Go ahead and throw up on that shade side, man. Go ahead and throw up around that. Yeah, you will be surprised. All right. Now, a word of advice. When you're starting off early AM, let's say we get out there at 6 o'clock, right? Maybe 5:30 when the sun starts to, you know, we get a little bit of light of day. We get out there, we're normally fishing moving baits, all right? More so reactive baits. We're looking at crankbaits, excuse me, fishing minnows, all right? Jerk baits, moving baits, all right? So whatever that moving bait is, chatterbait, all right? Swim jig, something that is moving. When that sun starts to come up and the heat starts to heating up on you, all right, when it starts to warming up, then you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to transition, all right? And depending on your body of water, how much pressure is getting, I know every body of water right now is getting a bunch of pressure, man. Bass fishing is off the chain, from kayaking, whoa, from kayaking to boating, things of that nature, man, bank fishing, yeah. So everywhere there's pressure, but you're gonna adapt. You're gonna slow down. You're gonna think about what is not being thrown. And this is just throwing at the bank right now, guys. Yeah, at the bank. Yep, that's simple. We don't need electronics for this. And you can catch some of the biggest fish in that body of water, all right? Because there's a population that stays up on the bank, and then there's a population of fish that like to sit over in that open water, okay, guys? We're not necessarily targeting those fish right now. What we're going to target is the bank, okay? Real simple, easy stuff. We ain't even got to go look for it. It's right there in front of us, all right? So when we got to transition, we got to adapt. We're going to slow down, okay? We're throwing Texas rig, okay? Worms, lizards, crawl style baits, you know, your creatures and your crawls, man. We're going to throw a Texas rig. We're going to slow it down. We're going to put a 1/8 ounce, excuse me. We're going to put an 1/8 ounce weight on there, maybe even a 1/16 ounce, depending on the water depth they're going to be biting in and the fall speed. And, you know, we want that fall rate pretty slow, okay? In this particular case, we don't want it dropping down super fast. We just want it going ahead, floating down real natural. That lighter weight, that more natural fall, triggers more bites than many would think. Okay, guys? It's just something about it. I know a lot of guys like to throw 1/4 ounce weight, stuff like that, but if you don't have to punch it through anything, if you don't have a whole lot of junk in the way, yeah, lighten that up, okay? Make that a very light bait. Sometimes go weightless, and that'll get you a crazy bite. All right. So when you're targeting your cover, all your good spots, all the locations I just named, all right, that is, you know, your overhangs, right underneath those overhangs, those docks, those lily pads, the muck pads, all right, heavy wood structure, brush piles, things like that. Oh yeah, you're gonna keep it real slow. You're gonna throw that bait in there, let it sit, and then you're just gonna, every few seconds, probably about 3 to 5 seconds, you just give it a little bop bop. Yeah, that's it. That is bop bop, just like that. Because next thing you know, your line is gonna be tugging one way or the other, and you're gonna set that hook on him, guys. I've learned that summertime fishing, you gotta take your time on the pressured fisheries. You gotta throw something you know nobody else is throwing. So I like to look for some of those different baits. You guys know I throw a lizard a lot because most people are not throwing a lizard. They don't have a lizard, all right? A little swimming dinger by Yum, you know, it looks like a little slender bait fish, kind of a longer grub. Yeah, man, Texas rig that thing, throw it down in there. Get you a shaky head, okay? Get a shaky head, man, put that worm on there. Slow it down. Yeah, man, because those fish are lethargic. They're getting pressured because, of course, these days are beautiful. These days are nice. Look at this right behind me. It's a beautiful day. Be on the water. So a lot of people are going to be on the water. Going to be a lot of pressure. Slow down, okay? We're not going to switch over to finesse just yet, but we are going to slow down, all right? I like a good jig, okay, guys? Good old pitching, flipping jig, a do-all jig. Go ahead and throw that in there. Yeah, and work it the same way. Little bop, bop. You can switch it up, give it 2 bops, 1 bop, you know, switch it up a little bit. Oh yeah, guys. And if you do a very slow swim, sometimes that can trigger a very aggressive bite, y'all. I'm telling you, that ain't nothing like it. You try to swim that jig back just real slow, very slow. And it's not crawling, it's just swimming kind of just above the bottom, okay, guys? And it's moving slow, and then it just gets hammered, dude. It just gets smashed. So it's crazy, you know, but very slow approach, guys. This is a very predictable time to fish, all right? A lot of people forget about the jig. Throw that jig, man. Yeah. I'm also giving you some baits in this video because a lot of people, they're caught up on what they're caught up on right now, the new trends. Don't forget to go back a little bit. Throw that jig, okay? I know these fish ain't seen a jig in a while. Everybody's throwing a minnow. Everybody's throwing a little corky, you know. And man, you can't even get the corkies, man, right now. These things is, you gotta wait for them. You know what I mean? But everybody's got spiky balls on. You know, everybody's got whatever trend is happening right now. That's what they're doing. Okay, and that's roll through time. So that's always how it's going to be. Don't forget to look back at a banjo minnow. Yeah, you ain't heard that in a while, but a banjo minnow was still working. Yeah. Okay, guys. So don't forget, man. Don't forget. Think outside the box. Because if they haven't seen this bait, right? Like most of them haven't seen my lizard, they're gonna be all over it, man. Switch it up, 6-inch, 8-inch. All right. These bugs are crazy right now. But yeah, do that. Think outside the box. All right, guys. Another great spot, okay, especially before the sun gets too high up, is on that bank. You see when it starts to slope down. If you happen to have some 2D, at least 2D. If you happen to have some 2D, you'll see that little step down. That little step down, there's a little cooler water right there. Sometimes the fish will set up right there. If there's a grass line there, that ledge right there, where it's a little bit cooler water, but they can still see up and attack or get something to eat if they need to, you know, the opportunity presents itself. So yeah, man, don't forget, look at those areas as well. If you do have 2D at least, check out the contour of your body of water, okay? Because sometimes those little dips, if you're looking at 4 foot, 5 foot water deep, you know, and visibility is probably, you know, let's say 3 foot deep, that little pop down right there, if that's a hard bottom, then sometimes they'll sit and rest on that, and you could just, bam, get you one right out of that little hole. So, you know, just keep your eyes open. But for the most part, fishing in the summer is predictable, y'all. Predictable. Shade. Yep. Get up under that dock. Throw that thing under that dock, dude. Get you one. Just like people, they're trying to go somewhere cooler so they're not, you know, extra lethargic, trying to regulate that body temperature. Yeah, great time to go fishing. Very predictable, and good chance you can catch your PB just hitting those predictable spots, those little pockets in the bank where it's transitioning, all right, from this kind of greenery to that greenery or to a rock to wood transition. Those spots are juicy too, guys. Check those spots out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You will get bit, okay? Just got to be patient with it, slow down. This is the time of year I like to really pick things apart. Now, I already fish slow. I'm just going to be honest with you on that. I hear it from my homies all the time. I do fish a little slow, but I feel like that strategy works great for me. You know what I mean? So I will just pick things off and hit it here and hit it right there. And you're looking like, dude, that's only a 2-foot difference. If there was a fish here, you know, he would have seen that. But not all the time, guys. Not all the time. Okay. And another one, fishing dirty water, dirty, warm water. All right. We had a storm blow through and the wind was crazy, man. Chopped that whole thing up. And I'm talking about my local lake here, Silver Lake, right here in Dover, Delaware. Man, it chopped it up. The water was brown, dude, and it was crazy. So slowed up, pointed out to the shade, because the very next day I went out, it was bluebird skies and yeah, sun was high up, dude, and it was beaming. And I just went to the predictable zones, all right? Now, with the water clarity being so murky, made it that much more predictable, because when that water gets murkier, they're gonna be sitting closer to cover, like this here umbrella piece, you know, it's gonna be sitting right there. You know, it's gonna be sitting close to cover. It's gonna feel comfortable. It's gonna get itself in a comfortable position, just like you and I would do. So think like a predator, and in the sense of, you know, where would you hide? You normally would hide somewhere in a deep shadow that you could jump out, get whatever you're gonna get, and fall back into your deep shadow. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how your mindset has to be in summertime bass fishing. All right, your bridges. All right, bridges are awesome, but they can also, They can also be your downfall if you're trying to pick them apart for too long. You can waste time on them because they also heat up faster, right? So just like bridges freeze faster in the wintertime, they also heat up faster. So that radiant heat coming off the bridge piling and that riprap, you know, if they're trying to stay cool, they're probably not going to be sitting uptight on that concrete or on that steel beam. You know what I mean? Now, these flies are crazy. I don't know what's going on. Flies and mosquitoes everywhere. I thought I sprayed some off. I guess I did not spray enough. But yeah, guys, those bridges, they heat up faster. So don't waste too much time. If you don't get bit, kind of move on and wait for those cooler times of day to hit that bridge. So it's not so much radiant heat. The morning time, the bridges may be awesome. It might start off good and end up bad. Okay, guys, so you gotta kind of don't waste a whole lot of time on that because you'll be mad at yourself depending on what kind of bridge structure you're working with. The lily pads, like I say, man, throw a frog in there, throw something to pitch, flip up in there. Piece of cake, slow down, you will get bit. And if you're in snakehead territory, oh man, all you need is a frog. Throw that frog in there, work that thing out. Get your ham bone from Stormborn Baits. Come on, man, stormbornbaits.com, check them out. So, speaking of pitching and flipping, we're also looking at muck mats, right? Those grassy layovers where you got matted grass on the top of that water, some kind of muck, some kind of cheese up there. Those are a very good place to look too because that, like I said, temperature is low under there. Yeah, man. Get you a little Texas rig, pitching rig, you know what I'm talking about. Set that thing up with about a ½ ounce, depending on how thick the cheese is, and just pitch around in there, man. Slow down, get that thing dropping up and down, and get that bite, man. Get that bite. So, yeah, most predictable time to fish is right now. So guys, I hope you learned something. I hope you liked the video. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you got any thoughts on summertime bass fishing and its predictability, put those down in the comments, man. I appreciate all the love. We have been growing 1 subscriber at a time, okay? 1 minute at a time. We are growing, y'all. And I appreciate it all. So, thanks for checking out the video. Tight lines and all that good stuff. Peace. Better go and catch you some, boy. Go and catch you some of them fishes.